Welcome back to Sunrise Daily. Dr. Fagbenro Byron, this seems to suggest to anyone who is watching right now that maybe the COA party, there are some steps that they should have taken that they didn't take and have missed this opportunity, which he alluded to. An opportunity has been missed. Did your party not being, having a very key member, your secretary in the CUPP, did your party not see that this is where the CUPP is headed?
Well, you see, COA party went into the CUPP with an open mind. And from day one, we did not go because of PDP or anyone. We didn't also go as a junior partner. We went to a forum where we believed that we would be heard. Now, also remember there is a difference between the selection committee and between the steering committee. I am aware that COA party is a member, was represented on the steering committee as the second PRO. That is our secretary. But clearly, the steering committee is different from the selection committee. Now, nobody told us that the selection committee will be in secret. Nobody said that.
But did you know they were sitting at all?
I didn't even know they were sitting. We didn't know.
Does your
As a
party
matter
know
of
they
fact,
were sitting?
we didn't know nobody told me they were sitting, and I'm sure because nobody told me, I'm sure if my secretary knew they were sitting to decide, he would have told me. And I insist that step 3, subsection B, says clearly in black and white, it is here, the presentation made by each party and its candidates. That means it is expected. How do you select amongst presidential candidates without listening to them? How do you judge a man in court? How do you take a man to court without giving him a fair hearing? Well, if it is true,
I think.
Well, candidates of other parties presented there. Yeah. Did they make its submission?
Excuse me, sir.
He doesn't know.
How would I know?
Professor Kila,
yes.
Respond to this. So let's take that section 3. Yes. The CUPP selection
3B.
committee. Hold on. Yes. The CUPP selection committee shall evaluate the decision resulting from the data from 3 questionnaires from each party.
Yes.
And the presentations made by each party and its candidate.
Yes.
Is it possible to devolve or to separate A from B?
Yeah, it is possible. And I think that is what Dr. Fagbenro has said very clearly today. He said the presentations are not to be made by individuals, but by the parties. So it is assumed, and we have to give people benefit of the doubt. It is assumed that the coalition liaised with the parties and said to them, send us your manifesto, send us your ideology, and send us your candidate's profile. And based on that, they did it. I think, look, 3 things need to be pointed out very quickly here. Number 1 is that for where we are in Nigeria today, it doesn't get better than what Dr. Baleo has said. He said, I apologize, obviously because he sees there's been an error there. He says, I recognize there's been a communication gap. Most people will be happy with that. It makes sense. The other thing that's happened this morning is that Dr. Byron has said, I do not agree with Atiku being the consensus candidate.
Sorry, don't
we shall fly.
Me,
no, you're going to change it later on. No. We shall fly our flag. And it is not against Atiku, it's because we disagree with the process. Therefore, we shall fly our flag. But he also very politically sent a message saying that, but we can work together on other things. And Dr. Baleo, who is a savvy politician, took note of that, grabbed on it, and said, yes, of course we can work on other things. The third thing is that, and this is why I keep trying to understand that, my position is really neither with him nor with Dr. Baleo. It's a different position. I am just looking at it that the people of this country deserve, if they tell me we're not there yet, then the young shall grow. But I believe we're old enough in this country to have a process that is open for people to see what is going on. I also believe that from a tactical or even strategical point of view, there's been an error committed because there is something to endorsement, there is something to consensus, there's something to primaries. Those who understand politics, not just politicians, those who understand politics know that you use primaries, endorsement to galvanize. It is not just about the decision. If I were to show what is wrong in the process, that is what I'm about. I'm not even really interested in who's in or who's out. I'm interested in the fact that the CUPP, or better still, the handlers of the CUPP, missed a golden opportunity to use the process of endorsing a candidate to galvanize. There was no hurry.
You were trying to make
There was no need to have done it now.
Yes.
Do you have a problem with Atiku being the endorsed candidate?
I don't have a problem with anybody. When I was contesting for presidency under the CUPP party, I never asked anybody to step down for me. Nobody asked me to step down for them. There was a process that was clear and transparent and publicized by CUPP party. That is the CUPP party standard. The CUPP party standard is the standard of transparency, rule of law, and accountability. Accountability because our process is documented, it is on record. Tomorrow, somebody else will come, and that is how nations grow. You build institutions, you don't build personalities, and you don't build cults. Now, in this particular case, CUPP has had a choice, they've had a product, but it's a bit too late because in the first place, we did one. I had a press conference October 22 this year where I warned that it is necessary for the CUPP to come up with a consensus before the 19th. Because after the 19th, it will be almost impossible for any candidate to concede to the other.
Let's get his response. Let's get the response of Tafawa Balewa in Abuja. How do you respond to this?
You can see, even at the beginning of this program, you were talking about violence in the home. Very close to elections in Nigeria, we would have been talking about 10,000, 20,000 people being butchered to death. Our politics has grown a lot. Even to have this type of conversation at this point in time is another stripe for CUPP to have been able to bring politics to everyone. The consensus of every party, I mean we have about 47 parties in CUPP now. It's been really rewarding to be able to have this type of discussions now instead of what we would have been talking about so many people dying. I do understand Dr. Byron and Professor Kila very well. What we're arguing about is really a case of semantics. In one of the paragraphs, you mentioned data. So the presentation had to have come in form of a written, in a written form. There are several different levels of presentations. Maybe it wasn't explained earlier, but you know, the data being used latter, I think it's in section 3, already insinuates understood for section 2. So we should just move forward and try to try to cooperate and extricate Nigeria from its fetters. That's what we're going to do. And by the grace of God, we will put more grease to our elbows and move forward.